There it goes. Hold on.
So exciting. Can we do like the countdown, like 5, 4.
I think we're going.
There it is. There's the notification. Hi.
Is it going? Don't you love technology?
Yeah, we're good. Hi, everyone.
So there it is. So I'm going to share this on my other page, and then we'll start.
Perfect. The Facebook plan has already started, just so you know.
Well, you could fill some space while I play with the computer.
This is good stuff. Well, Alberto, thanks for joining us. You're drinking, you're not frozen now.
No, I appreciate the invitation, and I appreciate that Dave does this every week. Way to connect with people. I appreciate you being on it, Vanessa. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this is a little less formal than what I just was on. So I just did the 9 News stream with the city of Westminster, which, like I was just saying before we went live with this, I had no idea that they were streaming that on 9 News. I was like, what?
Where to find it?
Yeah, I'm here in my garage getting streamed to their Facebook. That's cool. But
yeah, I saw the 9 News link, and I was like, oh, it looked like there was like 241 people on it. I was like,
well, it took me a minute because I was trying to go and share it off of my Facebook. So I was looking on the city of Westminster. It's like, where's it at? I was like, no. And I heard Greg say something about 9 News when we were doing our prep for it. And so I went and looked, and there it was. So, we have been starting to do these politics in Pilsner, actually, and it's policy in Pilsner, which I think warrants some explanation why it's policy in Pilsner, because actually you're the one who suggested that I switch the name of my town halls, because when I was running for council, it was politics in Pilsner, and you made the very wise suggestion that it should be policy in Pilsner, since I am making policy now as a council person. So I thought that was good. So actually I still slip up and call it the wrong thing from time to time, but it's actually policy in Pilsner, and I have to give kudos to Alberto because that was his idea to make that change. Correct?
Yeah. I appreciate that.
I wonder where the original idea came from, though. So whatever.
Sure, you did make me change Vanessa's original idea.
No, I appreciate it. I liked the policy in Pilsner, and I was like, man, that's a cool name, and I forgot that it was my name.
I will say, since I started doing the pub and stuff, like I remember seeing a couple people who did like kickoffs in the different pubs or breweries. Now it seems like every politician in the metro area has some flavor of like a town hall at some sort of brewery.
True.
Like I know that Tatone does one up by Candelas. I can't remember the name of that brewery up there.
There's only one.
I know there's only one, but I can't remember what it's called. And I've seen some other ones that do them. I think Faith does one, and Rachel Zenzinger, I think, does one. I just don't remember where they're all at. But
I think it's a rule now that you have to rhyme your name with an alcohol for your town hall.
There you go. So speaking of, we always do at the beginning of the show. And since you're the guest, I'll go ahead and actually let you introduce yourself. And then you have to tell us what's in your pint or what you're drinking if you don't have a
Sure. I'm Alberto Garcia. I had the privilege of serving on the Westminster City Council for a couple of years. Did that, and now I am a legislative analyst down at the city of Denver, and unofficial, and my other job is to give Dave unsolicited advice and opinions all the time. And true. I have my trusty CU glass, and we're going straight up Miller Lite tonight, buddy.
Nice. Low carbonate, right?
Low carb.
Nice. And then we also have to my left my lovely wife, who I will let introduce herself and share what she's drinking.
Well, this is, Alberto, you're right. This has become pretty fun. It's become a tradition now in our garage on Wednesday night. It was our thought to take policy in Pilsner because I think it was right away when everything kind of first happened. We'd had one scheduled and said, let's go virtual. And this has been a really great Wednesday to look forward to. So thanks for joining us tonight. I'm drinking just, I think like last week, I went with the mango Rita.
Oh, nice.
It was so dang good. And all you have to do is just pour it into a fancy glass, and then you feel just sophisticated all over the place.
Not diet friendly.
Not, yeah, I don't, if you're in quarantine, it doesn't count.
I don't know. I played that for the first 3 weeks and it's not been good. So the
scale told me this morning that's not true.
I saw a good meme that says, I got on the scale today and it said, please practice social distancing.
From where?
Well, I will add, since she didn't, and she gets my unsolicited advice. She's also a candidate for HD 29 for the State House to represent part of Arvada and the Jeffco half of Westminster.
Yes. So I not unsolicited at all. I need all that. This has been nice to just come and kind of relax, but I think every day is a new challenge, trying to figure out how to campaign through all of this. And how to reach people and how to still get your message out there, because this is a different time. And although you have, and I lean on both of you guys as friends and as elected officials, you still have to get your message out there. So growth in transportation, does that take on a whole new meaning now with a situation like COVID? Does school safety and does the whole education system take on a whole new meaning? And most of all, this doesn't change. Mental health will always be an issue for humans. No matter how society evolves, we're still humans. We still have emotions. So mental health will always be a passionate issue for me. And I think now more than ever, that still means something. So still campaigning, still being out there because it's important. And November's I think we're under 200 days now to that election day. So, but who's counting? Not, yeah.
We have a picture on our refrigerator of the president, and we have dry erase how many days till election, and the kids get on her. She doesn't have the days right, or younger. Like, you didn't fix the days. It's up there erasing.
Because who's counting days right now? Honestly.
I will say, on the note of transportation, I haven't put gas in my truck in a while, and with my big truck, I usually have to put gas in like a couple times a week. Not right now. Yeah. I don't remember the last time I put gas in it. It's because I don't go anywhere. I'm being good. I'm staying at home. Like I'm
just setting a good example as an elected official. You're following the advice.
I will say it's been like one of the most challenging times to be as big of a constitutionalist as I am with what's been going on, because my instinct is to not do what I'm told. It's just who I am. Right. But I think, that comes with personal accountability. And that's really the thing I remind people with, like, in a free society, you still got to do what's right. Like, that's, what makes it work. So, some people have more faith in personal accountability than others, but it is what it is. So speaking of, you and your new transition, how you liking going from politician to actual staff member? That's other side of the coin, right?
That's true. Let me ask you though, what do you?
This is a game Alberto plays with me. Instead of answering your question, I'm going to ask you a question.
Wait,
what are you drinking there, buddy?
Okay. Oh, what am I drinking? I have a good pirate. I have ice, which is diet, and rum. Lots
nice.
Of rum. Yes. There's no shortage of rum right now.
Right.
And I did, although I went to the liquor store maybe a week ago, the one over off 100th and Wadsworth. They have looks like a sneeze guard, and this poor kid is behind. I usually go to that one, so it's the same kid who's always working there. I call him a kid, he's 25. But he's got his hoodie and it's tied, and he's got a mask, he's got gloves, and I was like, not liking working here so much anymore. Huh? He's like, no, it sucks. I'm like, yeah, like, all right, well, thanks. Like, I'm not coming back here again. I got to find somewhere that delivers until this is over, because
it's total beverage, buddy. Free delivery.
Another.
This is why we need to talk to him more often.
Another quick story about that liquor store though. What may or may not have been there a week and a half before that. And I was like, you guys pretty busy? He's like, honestly, this is the other guy, that only two people that I ever see working there. He's like, honestly, I think this whole thing is making people alcoholics. He's like, because people come in and say, you know, I need to stock up for 2 weeks. He's like, and I see him in 2 days. And the first thought I had to myself is, I need to start rotating liquor stores because I'm coming in here too much, possibly. But
So we did.
eh,
So we spread the wealth.
well, you
because,
gotta support
you know,
local.
it's supporting local businesses. I think that's what's most important.
Seriously, and also I don't want to be seen in the same liquor store too much. I guess.
But yeah.
On that note, you flip the script on me. So, politician to staffer, the people want to know, or maybe
You
they
know,
don't.
it's a good transition. It is. It's like I get to right now. I'm specializing in broadband, internet, telecommunications issues. So all this small cell, all this 5G stuff that you always hear about. It's really a lot of the stuff that dealing with that. And so it's really been really cool to just be able to specialize because, you know, Dave, when you're on city council, you get that packet in which you have 20 different issues that you have to deal with, and you do your best to try to get as much information and to make decisions. Whereas here, it's really been able to specialize, try to become an expert in one area, and it's just a lot of stuff dealing with the FCC, which has been really cool to be able to be at that level, to be able to be, you know, with Congress and with the FCC administratively. So that's been a really cool thing to do. So sometimes when you write the policy memorandum and you know which way you think it should go and somebody that's a higher decision maker goes a different direction, yeah, frustrating because you're like, I used to make those decisions, but you also realize, hey, that's, you know, those are the people that are accountable to the people. So it's up to them to make the decisions, and all we can do is provide the best information we can and just let them do it. So it's been cool in Denver. I mean, Denver is just, you know, big, you know, big city. It's just a big city with a lot of other issues that we didn't really deal with here. So, you know, I've liked it.
Does that help you kind of being that you've been on the other side of some of that though? Does that help
Absolutely.
you kind of your message?
Absolutely. One, it does help me. Yeah. One, I think I know able to sense a little more of the, because like a lot of some of my colleagues, and they're wonderful, but, you know, what they do is they'll just put, here's the facts and here's why it should be this. Well, as an elected official, you have to take that second step, which is, okay, this may be the right thing to do, but then now how does it affect people? How does it affect my constituents? And so while it may be, yes, we got to do A, well, maybe we could look at B because it's really going to start affecting people and it's going to have a negative impact. And so I think I've been able to take that second step to really analyze, hey, here's how impact it's going to have. Here's how the community is going to be affected by it. And it's also taught me not to take things not to be so sensitive about things. Just put the information out there, and you know, the policymakers can make the decisions. And you know, I was that for a while, and I chose not to keep doing that. So now my job is just to provide information and let people make an informed decision.
For sure.
I think it's interesting. I've applied for a couple of government jobs, and because you know I do IT work. And so I always watch to see if there's IT leadership jobs because that's what I do. Not recently, but like when I was looking for a job back before I got this current job, I know I applied at a couple places like the city of Brighton I interviewed for, and a couple other ones that I had looked at in the past. And I always thought maybe that would help me be like, well, you know, I'm a policymaker. I think when you're actually a policymaker, they're like, no, thanks. Maybe after you're done. So
interesting. Yeah, I think that must be an interesting transition for you. I'm curious if you ever think you'll want to go back to the elected life and all the luster and all the carpets that get rolled out for you, if that's still desire, or
you can never say never, but I don't see that being my role anymore. I enjoy it's much easier to be behind the scenes and be able to be armchair quarterback to tell people you should be doing this and should be doing that. And they're the one, but then I don't have to get the phone calls at 8 at night.
See, that's funny though. You know, you say it's unsolicited advice you always give me, but I feel like I earned a fair amount of it because if people don't know, I ran the first time I ran really against or with Alberto in 13, and he won and I didn't. Yeah. And then in 15 I ran again because a lot of people run 3 times before they win. And but through that 4 years where he was on council and I wasn't, there was no shortage of what I thought being thrown at Alberto.
That is very true.
Yeah, we only take it. Well, it sounds like you guys both in your positions have learned a lot. I'm curious if you might be willing to test all of this knowledge in a little game. Dave told me last week I wasn't allowed to take over policy in Pilsner anymore, but it doesn't keep me from really wanting to
I really
test it
have
out.
no say
So,
what she does or does not do.
my only hindrance is going to be if I can't figure out how to share my screen. So bear with me. Just it's some fun trivia. I think you're
All right. I'm all for it.
no politics though. So there's no US history involved. There's I gotta find this PowerPoint now. Okay, hold on. It's gonna be great. I think the screen goes no matter what I do. So, all right. Here's this. I open, then I gotta share it, right, babe? This is why I have IT here with me.
Looks like she's getting it right to me. I don't know.
Okay.
No cheating, Dave. Quit looking at the answers.
It went a lot.
Alberto's like, don't cheat.
All right. Yeah, I know that was the biggest thing. That's so to the folks at home, that's why we can't sit next to each other, but our backgrounds are so similar because I couldn't let him see this PowerPoint that I worked so hard on. And I just hope that it's, are we going smooth now? Oh gosh.
Oh, okay.
All right. So this is exciting. To our audience at home, welcome to our first edition of Policy in Pilsner Trivia.
You should hit share. We can both see the.
Okay.
Or present. Hit the present. Hit a 5.
Hold on, we're going. Slideshow. Here we go. Present. From beginning. There we go.
There
Okay.
we go.
There. Running smooth, right? Okay. So first question, just to warm up. Oh no, how can we move this screen so you can see the full question? So I just want to warm up with some discussion to make sure that even though I know my two friends sitting here are on opposite ends of the aisle, that you guys can have civil discussion right now. So given a slice of pizza and a burrito, who would win in a fight?
Ring rules or prison rules?
Oh, prison rules. Prison rules for sure.
I don't know.
That's a spectacular.
There's no right or wrong. I just want to get the discussion going.
I'm gonna let Alberto answer
Okay.
first since he's the guest.
I think I gotta go with the breakfast burrito. No,
Okay.
I take it back. I gotta go with the pizza.
I might side with Alberto because that pizza looks pretty scrappy. It's kind of got some grit to it. So
Man,
all
I
right.
don't know. Like I'm gonna just for sake of argument, I'll go with burrito just
With
to
the
be
burrito.
different. Somebody's
All
got
right.
to
But
pick
the pizza has a thicker crust, so I think it's got more force. Whereas the tortilla is, man, what's that going to do?
But the burrito looks kind of healthy, so you never know. All right, so we got to move on. All right, so this
Okay.
is our first question, 1 of 5.
So there was no answer. We don't get to know
Oh
which
no,
one
it
wins?
was really a test slide. I just needed to make
Oh.
sure everything was going to move just
So
smooth.
hypothetical.
So
There's
yeah,
no
all
wrong or
right.
right
So I
answers.
just need you to ponder on that. If it keeps you up at night, just give me a call. DeMontforcolorado.com.
Nice.
All right, so question 1 of 5. Name Rob Lowe's character on the show West Wing.
Oh man, I've never watched that show.
What? No? Okay. Alberto,
This is
do you
an
have?
Alberto question for sure.
Absolutely. It is
Oh, what's your answer?
Sam Seaborn.
Sam Seaborn. All right, let us check with the gallery. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. You're good.
You know Rob Lowe is a low carb guy. I'm sure Atkins pays him a hefty.
I did not know that.
Rob Lowe is something for sure. So continuing on. Good job.
That's
Good
1 for Alberto, 0 for Dave.
Alberto's winning.
Sophisticated score tracking system here. It is a
Wonderful.
note and a pen. So Alberto gets 1 point. All right, moving on. Next question. Name the movie the following quote is from. I'm going to read this out loud in case you guys can't see it and our viewers at home need to hear about it. I'm not talking about dance lessons. I'm talking about putting a brick through the other guy's windshield. Dave, It's your show. I mean, maybe you've got to guess that's first.
I feel like this is slid against me because I have
I
no
don't-
idea.
Oh, it's a great line. Great line.
I mean,
I
it
don't
sounds
know.
like a solid life. No, it doesn't. That sounds like a bad idea.
Well, that's why it's the movies, because they're not meant for real. Former Mayor Pro Tem, please, can you help us out?
Oh, no, I don't know. Let's say something like Fast and the Furious.
Wow.
Oh gosh, that's the
That's
worst movie ever.
Wow, it's a good thing that's not like,
I loathe those movies.
that's disappointing. So the Royal Tenenbaums.
That's my own movie.
Yeah, it was released in December of 2001. Now, a lot of people haven't seen this, just given the time era that it came from, but a drama comedy. I mean, come on, this is Bill Murray. I mean,
This is my favorite movie of all time. This is a wonderful, wonderful movie, and I'm very disappointed in myself that I did not.
That's both ways here, buddy.
Now
Both ways.
I'm gonna have to watch that movie because
Please take a point away from me.
Should I take the point away?
Yes, big time.
That's right. Even now
There
with
we go.
zeros.
Okay, that's the rules of the game. So here we go. Next question, folks. 3 of 5. Name the popular men's 1980 fashion trend with the slogan. I really need your attention here. When you put it on, something happens to you.
Jordache.
Jordache. Oh.
Oh,
Good one.
I have to say that this is probably a trend that should never have gone away.
Never.
And I think that I think right now, especially in this time of crisis, would people would be well served to have it brought back.
Please.
The members only jacket.
The members only jacket. Let's see. Oh my goodness. You have redeemed yourself. And I feel like maybe I should give you back the other point. Because not only it's right here. When you put it on.
That's amazing.
You're getting 5 points. 5 points. Passion, and it makes people happy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there.
That's horrible. Simply horrible.
Dave, did you have a members only jacket?
Well, who didn't? I mean,
I need you to recall, Alberto just said, a fashion trend that should have never gone away.
now I know what to get you for Christmas.
That's right.
That's awesome. Now we know. All right. Question 4 or 5. Gentlemen, we are almost there. So superheroes, superheroes make everybody happy, right?
Yeah.
So which superhero's middle name is Joseph? This is right? You gotta really know your superheroes.
Can I phone a friend?
You could phone. I don't know if our technology allows it. So let us know. So how does your superhero? Are you gonna phone a friend? How does this work?
No, I don't. No? I have no idea.
Alberto, your knowledge of superheroes run deep? Or?
I'm gonna go Wonder Woman. It's probably Joseph.
So Diana
Joseph. Makes sense to me.
Is that her
father's name?
Folks, this is what I'm working with.
Is that her maiden name?
Any guesses?
Superman.
That's good. Well, so are you saying Superman, Joseph, Kryptonite, whatever?
Clark Joseph Kent.
Oh,
Clark Joseph Kent. There we go.
Let's see. Oh,
there we go.
Good, folks. This is why he is in a position of power.
I think maybe this is skewed. I feel cheated.
I don't know how. Well, but let's take a moment and let's talk about different Supermans. There's different Batmans. There's different Supermans. Alberto, your favorite Superman?
This is my favorite Superman. Superman from the old movies. Christopher Reeve. That's by far my favorite.
What are the physics of Superman flying? That's the one thing that gets me.
How do you go faster? Is it more of this, or how do you slow down?
I
think he's just like a bee or a bird. You just go.
You just go. Well, that's good. I think we have one more question. if my memory serves me right, if everybody needs to take a sip and just, really, this is big. As of right now, Alberto's winning. That's if by my count.
At my count, he's beat me more times than not. So
it's 6-1. So we'll continue on. You got one question. Maybe just stretch it out. Don't pull a hammy on this last one, babe.
This is less painful than 13. So
okay. All right. Well, last question. Question 5 of 5. This burger joint in Austin, Texas.
Oh, he's a Texas guy. This isn't fair.
One of the best, not like top 20. One of the best by Eater Magazine. Burger joint, Austin, Texas. Dave, come on. You are a traveled guy.
The only place in Texas I've been is in the Bush International Airport. I was stuck there for 8 hours. It was horrible.
Well,
I'm going to just make a wild guess.
Okay.
And say that this is a restaurant. It's Sandy's Hamburgers.
Oh, that's really specific. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Final answer?
Yes.
All right. Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
This is my favorite trivia ever.
According to my very technological scorekeeping system, you are the clear winner, Alberto. Congratulations.
And I'm sure this is just a pure coincidence, but I will also add my very first job was in 1987 at that Sandy's Hamburgers.
You don't say. Well, if my career in mental health doesn't ever work out, I might try to be a private investigator.
That's right.
As long as people answer personal emails about their life history.
Horrible. Robbed.
That was a lot of fun. Come on. I think
That's a great trivia. I like it.
Policy and Pilsner trivia could be a thing, as long as the deck is always stacked.
So first we steal my town hall, then we embarrass me in trivia.
I didn't feel there'd be more than 5 questions allowed. So don't worry. Next time, I think next week we could try.
Next week.
Let's stack it for you next week, right?
I don't know. Well, next week we're having Tracy Kraft Tharp on. I don't think she'll like trivia.
All right. Tonight, if you're watching, Tracy, you should let us know. Maybe a trivia is in the cards for you.
Anytime you want a rematch, buddy, let me know.
I want a different game show host.
Winner gets to choose the game show host, so we'll keep it. We'll keep the same.
Many talents, folks. Your wife specifically says, I call shenanigans from Abby Fitch.
Oh.
Somebody's on to me.
Been robbed. That's too funny. So we have on our script here about what's news with you. Like what's new that's not politics. Like actually though, I have to say, like, people always ask, like, you enjoy campaigning. I think that's the funnest part of politics personally. And I know you like a good campaign, kind of nerds like that, but politics aside, what have you been up to?
Considering we can't really leave the house, really, other than watching Tiger King, that's about it.
So I have to share, Alberto and I are like AA sponsors for the low carb life that we've both been on the track for or whatever, which is funny because it used to be he and I would always talk about what foods we were going to eat that most other politicians won't eat, because like Sonic and Taco Bell and things that both of us love. And so when I first started doing low carb, I remember him giving me a hard time, calling me things like traitor and such, because then I stopped eating any of the fast food. When I first was on council for the first 2 months, I was there all the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a heart attack. I was fat enough as it was. So I think I was doing the diet for a good 10 months before you decided to give it a try. But you've had very impressive results, as have I. How, maybe talk about that a little bit. How that's, although that's really kind of been suffering, I don't know, for you, but for me, it has been in this situation.
No, absolutely. It was last February. We'd just gone on a cruise. And as you know, in those cruises, all you do is just eat and drink nonstop for a week. And then the next day was a Super Bowl party where I think I ate my weight in food. And then I woke up the next day just feeling terrible, terrible. Got on the scale, it was the heaviest I've ever been by far. And then that's when I texted Dave and I was like, hey, tell me a little bit about this low carb thing you were doing. And he sent me a bunch of stuff and I'm like, okay, you can eat meat and cheese. Maybe I'll give this a shot.
Yep.
It's just, and it's really easy to follow when you're able, there's a lot of things you can make, you can get creative, and it really worked. And so I was able to lose about 40 pounds. I'm well on my way to gaining it back, but about 40 pounds, a lot of exercise and that. So, you know, it was good. It was good. And health-wise, I was feeling great. You know, these last 2 or 3 weeks have been pretty tough because, you know, first of all, you're at home, so you can't go exercise. You can't go to the grocery store every day. So you're really trying to plan and really meal plan. And then you're just
a big part of low carb is really that, like the fresh vegetables and
right.
Really, and I think we love low carb too because we waste so much less food. If we're just going from like the farm to table kind of stuff, there's so much less waste, and that's been such a great part. But you're right, like being at home, we're running low on fresh vegetables.
In the amount of trash, honestly, between like when we're eating good and when we're not, because we're buying out and stuff. So like our trash can fills up a lot faster when we're not behaving on the diet, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
The boxes are not recyclable,
which is really weird to me. We just started, so
now the neighbors know.
So I know you and I love to talk about trash service, but we had typically been using the Westview recycle center, which we still do for like bigger stuff. But our trash service got bought like 3 different times, and so like they finally got to the place where it was the same price to add the recycle. So now I have curbside, but it's weird the things that they will take and won't take. Like for example, you can't take glass to Westview, but I could put glass in my curbside, but I can't put pizza boxes in my curbside. They specifically point out that you can't put pizza boxes in there.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
Something, but interesting. Yeah, I know that I've gained a little bit of weight back, but part of mine is like even before this, I started lifting a lot more weights because I didn't want to, like I've always been a big guy. So like, I don't know, I just started really hitting weights a lot harder, which I know you had started doing.
Yeah, I started doing weights. Yeah.
But
Jacob was wanted to start lifting weights, so we'd go and lift, you know, so we were doing that for a while, but it's just this past 3 weeks, everything's shown up.
You go through the whole thing where he has to try to show you up at the gym. My 12-year-old tried to show me up at the gym. I was doing like the press machine, and so I had to put all the weight on it. And he's like, "You're just showing off." I was like, "No, I'm just showing you I'm way stronger than you."
Yeah, he was trying to keep up with me, and he put a bunch of weight on, so I had to put even more on. And then Abby came and put even more than all of us. So
Well,
Abby,
we love Abby. So
Abby cracks me up at council meetings because, like in the side room, if we're on break, she's told me multiple times, I tell Alberto he doesn't want to see, you don't want to see what he eats. I'm like, no, I probably started it. Like that's what we do at work. Like, what kind of shit do you have today? Ridiculous things. Like actually, when we went on our Disney vacation, Vanessa and I were going through the list to see what the pictures were of. They were all food. They were like 90% pictures of food that I was eating at Disney.
Well, and here's, because I have a psychology kind of mind, I was trained within a day of the trip that if he started eating before he took a picture of his food, I'd be like, oh my gosh, wait, what are you doing? You got to take a picture of this for Alberto. It's a thing. I mean, you're involved in every process of food, all the good, all the bad, but it speaks to that why you guys are so successful at this diet, because you really lean on each other for that, and you don't feel guilty for the times that you enjoy food.
We'll see each other.
Yeah, no, it's about accountability for sure. It's about accountability. And the thing is that if you cheat and have nachos and go crazy, doesn't mean you quit the whole thing. It just means, okay, tomorrow you just get back at it.
I did have a confession, and I don't know if I told you this, but so Alberto is very popular with our local fire department in our union, and he went and did a bowling team with them, and they bought him a small shirt. And I have to tell you, the last time I saw Ron, I was like, yeah, Alberto's gotten like super skinny. And I was like, his wife calls him old man skinny, and he kind of laughed. He's like, I'm gonna have to give him a hard time. So when you told me he got you that small shirt, I'm like, oh, he's totally messing with him. That's pretty hilarious.
He's like, that's gonna fit, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Totally. Pre or post COVID.
You're crying.
It's too funny. He's texting me. He's like, they got me this small shirt. And I was like, oh, that's not cool. And what do you do though? Like, you're not gonna not wear it. So
yeah, I wasn't gonna be like, dude, do you have any of those larges, those extra larges?
So hi to Parker Brown, because I saw that he's there. Oh, Shannon Romero, I hope she's having a glass of wine while she's watching us. I hope Tracy's still out there, and she actually did reply. She will play trivia if she can send the questions.
like a good politician. You can ask me anything you want as long as it's on this sheet of paper.
I can respect that. So of course my reply is, well, that's what makes it fun. Dave's such a good sport. This is what makes it fun. Again, we have Jason. Hi, Jason from our city. Lori, Lindsay, my cousins. That's so great. I love seeing all of these people join us. Hopefully it helps kind of add a little bit of fun to their evening. I know it does for us.
Indeed.
So cheers.
So yeah, if Jason's listening, let me give a shout out to him and his team. I mean, the work that, the trails are packed now with people, and the work that they're doing to make sure there's safety precautions and make sure that there's upkeep and make sure that people are just being safe. It's just amazing that they're still out there doing everything. And I think Jason posted a picture today or yesterday of people leaving rocks now, like painted rocks all along the trail. And we saw those today. It's a little thing that just brightens your day.
This is a sore spot for Vanessa.
Let me just have a moment about these rocks.
Oh no.
Because we love this rock thing. It is beautiful, right? And so my daughter is so artistic, and she painted quite, like, I don't know, 5. And we went and we put them out there, and along with a whole bunch of other rocks that were out there, and now they're gone. All of the rocks
I think
are
people
gone.
are moving them around to different spots. Like, I think people find them and they're moving them. Either that, or the other thing is, hey, if that gives that person a fond memory of a horrible time and they have that in 15 years and they're like, remember when COVID was a thing? Good for them.
It's a compliment. Take it as a compliment.
So, well, it was all her, because she had, the rocks, the bears.
The best one that she made is that she made a rock, and it looks like there's a piece of paper on it, and it says, I win.
That's great.
She's Pinterest. These kids are creative. I will say for the schooling, and I know that I think Jacob is he 7th grade? Is he the same age as one of ours?
No, he's
9th grade. 9th grade.
Oh,
Yeah.
9th grade.
He's the same as Adia.
See, I don't want them to grow up. So we too have a 9th grader. So this has been, each kid is taking it differently. I think some are doing great. Some really, really miss their friends. This has not been easy for them. They miss their friends, but then, like, Adia finds such great artistic ways to go about her day. So is that the same thing? How is he doing? How is your internet doing? That's a hard thing for us.
It's struggling. It's doing okay, because we have 3 floors. So most of the day I'm upstairs, Abby's in the middle room, and Jacob's downstairs. And
social distancing.
Social distancing. But yeah, no, we have some internet troubles. But he's definitely in the category of, I think he liked being lazy. He liked that part, but he definitely misses his friends. And when you're a freshman and have a girlfriend for the first time, you definitely miss being able to hang out. And
yeah.
I read a meme I found to my mom yesterday that says, it says, my mom always told me that I wasn't going to amount to anything just sitting on the couch, but look at me here, saving the world. It's probably my favorite one. I know I asked Alberto, or we were talking about what we were going to talk about tonight. And so I'm going to bring up the thing I said, like Alberto and I, obviously very different political views on party views, I guess, but have a lot in common as far as like what's right by the people. And so I think both he and I, from both sides of the aisle, get the concept. Why do you two get along so much? Like, so I told him I was going to bring that up, and he has a great explanation for it. So.
Well, I mean, I have the explanation that we text back that I'll give a politically correct explanation. Which it just, I think I don't like these people who are just blind party loyalists. I've never liked that before. I just, where you put that ahead of, sometimes you put that ahead of policy decisions where it guides everything, guides a lot of what you do. I don't like that. I just like people who do what's right and what they feel is best for their constituents. And I think people that are genuine and that really research and prepare and talk to people and then come to a decision. It may not be the decision I wanted to make, but you know what? We know that it's well-informed. We know that it comes from a good place, and we know that you have your constituents in mind. And it's not because I think it's going to advance me politically, or I think that this is what other people would want me to do. It's because you genuinely feel like it's the right thing to do. Doesn't mean that I won't text you sometimes and say, why do you do that? But no, I mean, I think it's a fundamental, it's about the people.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Like I far more am about principles and people than I am party, always. Because I mean, it's at the end of the day, that's why you get into politics, or at least I hope that's why most people do, is because want to serve the citizens. And honestly, at the end of the day, like if you had everybody who had the same mindset, you don't have as good a policy. Like in my mind, like it takes people from both sides of both trains of thought, or all trains of thought, to try to say, okay, well, why don't you like that? Or why do you like that? And a lot of times, not always, but oftentimes, the end goal, like you're both kind of aiming for the same thing. You want the same, quality of life for people, say, for example, but you just have different ideas how you get there. And if you, kind of try to talk through things, oftentimes you can find something that accommodates both views to move something forward. I think that's why I like municipal government more than, higher office. It's a lot easier. It gets a lot more partisan as you kind of move up the different levels of government.
Well, and local government is that nonpartisan piece. I heard in a great response once somebody say, if I could name my own autobiography, I would call it this. So I'm curious if he now remembers what he said he would name it, because it really sums it up perfectly. Are you going to have to look at your responses just to see this?
I am. I'm sure it was something.
I'll give you a hint because I remember it, but it spoke so clearly. And I think this is exactly what Dave was saying, why you guys are friends, and why that question, and why really a whole nation should take heed of that, of why that divide has to come down.
Oh, that was a very clever response I gave you. If I had an autobiography, it would be called Fighting for the Rest of Us.
There you go.
I think that's good. I like that.
Yep.
I'm going to stand up and turn on this light because I feel like I'm too dark now. So,
has the sun gone? Have we talked through sunset?
There you go.
There you go.
Well, now you're orange. Okay, there you go.
And people should also understand, make no mistake, Alberto and I have some pretty good arguments from time to time. So
that is true.
So say hi to Brian Head, because I think this, speaking of arguments, this could start an
argument. I could get in some good arguments with Brian also.
He says, forget partisanship. The real controversy here is who has the best taste in music.
Oh, that's Alberto for sure.
So to our guest first.
Well, also, so I don't know if you've seen where you can do, is this going to let me do this in here?
Are you trying to play around?
Here, I'll let Alberto answer. Yeah. So
share with us your taste in music.
I like both kinds of music. I like country and Western.
Slick.
and that's a place where Brian Head and I share an affinity. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
So Brian, myself, and Alberto were all supposed to enjoy
What
going
is this?
to go see Aaron Lewis, who
Okay.
is both a rock artist and a country artist, and is my favorite singer of all times. So I was using this. I was playing around with these virtual backgrounds. So now we can all be
I
at the
want
Aaron
a
Lewis
virtual
concert together.
background. That's awesome.
The other one I have is a Trump rally. We'll
Hey.
I was having fun, and we had an all-day team meeting with some of our business owners, with our franchisees, and so I just kept changing it and just acting like nothing. And I see my boss dying laughing. So
I feel like he's diverting from the question, Alberto. He hasn't answered his music. You said country and Western.
Country and Western, George Strait,
And roll.
well, this isn't fair because I know Brian and Alberto like the same kind of music, and I don't. So
I already responded Alberto for the win. So
Thank you.
maybe
Thank
you can explain yourself, but I think it's worth an answer. Music brings people together. Music.
I like really loud, hard rock. So I'm a metalhead through and through. So
Yeah.
Like what group? What's a metal group?
have you ever heard of Evergreen Terrace?
That's a negative.
No. Here's this is on my desk at work. So do you know who the
Okay.
Deftones are, right?
Yes.
So this is a picture of me and my buddies in Chino from the Deftones.
All
It
right.
looks like we abducted him. He looks so uncomfortable. It's my favorite picture ever. But all varieties. I like a lot of metalcore type stuff. Every Time I Die, who you probably don't know who that is either.
Hatebreed,
Hatebreed, you know who
once
Hatebreed is?
you would just see the name of the band and you're like, oh, somebody must have gone to jail in this group.
Loud, angry rock got me through hard times in my life. So it's kind of like country, just angrier. But I like Aaron Lewis's country, and I like Johnny Cash. I like that kind of country. I don't like.
I'm with you.
I did tell you guys I'd go to that country concert. I don't remember which one it was, but that seemed to be a thing. Like, we're gonna get Dave to go to this concert.
That is
Parker
true.
Brown saw Hatebreed in October.
See, I knew I liked Parker. Parker knows what's
he
up.
owns one of the best restaurants around, right? And then he likes Hatebreed.
Parker knows what's up.
So music, when it comes to music, I'm more of a playlist person. I like all kinds of music, but I currently have a playlist called Quarantine. And this playlist ranges from everything from The Police, Don't Stand So Close to Me, MC Hammer, Can't Touch This. I think Disturbed, Dave would like that. Disturbed is on there, Down with the Sickness. So I'm really about embracing the mood of the time. No, not so I love music. Music definitely has brought us through a lot of great times, a lot of good, bad.
I do listen to just about everything.
I'm curious. We have all these people listening. I'm curious who else out there is music.
What does Abby listen to?
Ooh.
She doesn't strike me as a country bumpkin.
She just doesn't. She's not really down with the country at all.
You guys like to do karaoke, right? Like, so you don't karaoke country music, do you?
That's all like absolutely. I'll do some country karaoke, do some Charlie Daniels. It's good.
When is that Zoom meeting? When do we get to? When is that
virtual
Facebook
karaoke?
Live?
That's not happening on this.
We may need a few more of these pints before that one happens.
That could be a thing. Maybe there should be some kind of a public service announcement about what not to do on Zoom.
I've been trying to get Mayor Pro Tem Sites to do a PSA with me about Zooming, I think they call it, because like that's the thing now. Everybody's doing these happy hours, and I'm like, those can be recorded, right? And somebody would like got this real shocked look, and I was telling her, I'm like, we need to do a bipartisan thing. And I tried to actually get her to do it with me today so we could have a little break in a commercial, but she couldn't get free time to do it. So eventually
it could happen.
Yeah, I like Anita's. She's like the master of the dad jokes, and they're not good. So I give her a really hard time. So anytime I see a dad joke, I have to send it to Anita.
She's very, very funny.
She is funny in a very Anita way. But what was the one I sent her the other day?
Humor is what gets us through these hard.
Well,
hard
sometimes
times
it
right
gets
now.
you through council meetings too, because sometimes those are tense, and it's good, especially like if you're, not agreeing on things. It's fun to have a little sense of humor here and there. Makes things easier, as you well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think our world is going to see a whole different way as now we get used to being on camera. I like watching the legislative sessions, as I'm sure most of our viewers do, because that's what us people do.
I used to listen to council meetings, whether I went or not.
Right, even when you can interject humor into into those big decisions, and it brings people together, it goes a long way. So,
Or if you know the council
It's never gonna
people
make sense
or
anymore.
politicians well enough, they can make good drinking games, like, because certain people say the same things all the time.
Ooh.
I think everybody does, right? Like everybody's got their little tell of things they talk about or say a lot.
I think people have their catchphrases for sure.
So like every time somebody says something, you take a sip.
Well, it has to be a specific thing.
Oh, well, I know, but I'm trying not to say a specific thing, but okay, I see. So next topic.
So Alberto was supposed to send me more topics to talk about, and he didn't get
Oh no,
around
I
to
see
that.
them. They're all in there. And I think all that needs to happen is you ask him a question, and then he'll just ask you a question right back. I can tell you this. Our son told me today, originally he wanted to be a Navy SEAL when he was done with school. He wanted to go in and into the military, learn that. He has said today he wants to be a lawyer. So we kind of landed at that, and I thought, well, why do you want to? And he immediately started arguing with me, and I thought, okay, you're good. So growing up, your kids, what does everybody want to be? Did you want to be a counselor? Did you want to be an elected official growing up?
I wanted to be a cop. I was going to be a policeman. My dad being a policeman, he didn't want me to be a cop, but
Okay.
that is what I originally wanted. Sometimes I still wish actually I did that, because I think I'd be okay at that job.
So you didn't lay in bed dreaming to be an IT guy?
No,
Oh.
actually, I routinely tell people I hate computers, and they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, I am very good with computers. I am very good at what I do. But like, if you were like, what do you really want to do the rest of your life? I probably would pick something else. That sounds horrible. It's just true. But I'm good at it.
But you're good at it.
I like the business part of it.
But you can change now. I mean, I decided at a later age to change my career.
20 years in.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
What do you want to be?
I think when I was growing up, my dad was an elected official, so I just kind of grew up around. He was a lawyer, and I grew up around politics. I just always wanted to be involved in campaigns. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to.
Good at it.
I always knew I would be a lawyer because that's what we did in the family. So I am, my dad is, my sister is, but I really want to do the political stuff. And I like running the campaigns. I like just, everything that has to do with that. So
Yeah.
maybe one day I can go back to that.
Yeah.
Campaigns are fun. I think it's like the sport part. It's just going out and meeting people. Like you meet so many interesting people going to people's doors. I mean, that's the cliche of what I heard at doors, but I mean, really, you really do hear a ton of things at doors. Like some things you're kind of like, whoa, but you hear a lot of good stuff from people.
Oh, there's a drinking game when I was knocking at the doors.
Well,
that was me for the first year after I was on council.
I think that's everybody for the first year they're on council.
Well, I was going to ask, you both ran effective campaigns, but this is, however long this lasts, this is a totally different campaign season. So obviously I want both of your support, but out there's a ton of candidates. So what advice do you have for them? Like, how do you campaign in a virtual world like this? I mean, is this how you campaign?
Partially. I'll let Alberto answer that question first. I have my ideas, but
I mean, it's tough. I mean, I've been struggling with it, but I think it's twofold. One, and this is something that Dave is so good at, which is getting your name out there on a digital campaign. And so everybody's at home now in front of their computers on Netflix and Hulu. That's even more effective now. And that's something you've been able to do the past couple of elections is really be able to master that part. And then I think it's things like this. I really do. Like, this is something I really admire about Dave doing this, is that you have so many elected officials who only do this if it's a controlled setting and they've got a staff member who's right next to them. And it's a really formal blah, blah, blah.
There's no control in this home.
No, you're just here having a conversation with people. And that's what I think, that's the way that's just genuine. I think it's effective.
I've tried to do scripted. You can tell the difference when I'm not good at scripted. I'm good at just like I'm good at like bullet points and here's what.
Not even that.
Yeah, I am okay. Like I just want to make sure like I have certain points. Like if I'm even at a council meeting, I usually have like certain points I want to hit if I want to speak on a topic, just so I don't forget, because you get up there and you're under the lights, depending on how busy the room is, sometimes it's easy to get kind of lost in your thought. But like that's just me. Like my speaking style is I'm just like to talk. I enjoy this more than say even I like our town halls that we do as a council. I don't feel that they're as intimate and I don't get to hear the same kind of feedback as we do in those settings. Not that they're bad, but it's just a different opportunity, I think, for people to get to talk.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think you really don't have a choice right now than to kind of go more digital and figure out, like, phone calls are good, but people don't I'd say more times than not, you don't get somebody excited to hear from a politician on the other end of the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody does it, but door knocking, I think for the candidate themselves, my experience is if I'm the candidate, people are excited that the actual candidate took time to come talk to them.
Right.
More times than not, which is hard right now because you can't do it. I think phone calls are a little more apt to talk to if you're the candidate than the volunteers. Okay. But I mean, in this situation, like, you gotta get your name where people can see it. I mean, it's kind of some marketing stuff. Like, really, it's points of presence. How many times people see your name and then they hopefully look into you. And I mean, that's not all, because then they want to see what you're about. Like, so making sure that you're telling a story that makes sense, that people see why you're the best elected official or the best person to be an elected official for them, I think is really it. But it's about, like Alberto said, those different avenues to share who you are, I think. But
no, that's good advice from both of you. I think there's so much to be said for not just, I guess, as a candidate, but as as Dave is an elected official, and even in your personal profession, and Alberto, the same thing is, how is the city going to go forward with this? Where can they see that maybe this brought out some places of cost savings, or maybe they saw places that in policy and emergency preparedness that everybody can do better. So I think the whole situation brings out a lot of things, not just honestly as a candidate or as, how to make policy from here, but that whole macro level.
I think you're going to see a lot of adapting, like, at least in the short term, but probably even in the long term. Like, I think a lot of companies who have been teetering on the idea, so, I mean, even mine, of like, do we let people work remote? Like that, some companies have been there and some companies are comfortable, but I think now they see to some extent people want to. But then on the other hand too, I like working from home every once in a while, but man, like, the office sounds good. Like,
this luxury garage. I love this.
Well, it's not even so much that, but like, I'm having council meetings here. I work here. So Mondays I'm in my garage all day long.
Right.
So, like, it's actually exhausting. Like, and I think that's another thing, like with the virtual meetings that you're starting to see. And I was reading a big article about it actually, that it's just more stressful on people because it's not the same as having a normal in-person interaction. So, but I do think you'll see like some shifting in society as far as like work conditions and stuff, and hopefully a lot of jobs come back after this is done. I mean, you hear the unemployment numbers and they're dreadful, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, some of these businesses you hope are going to be able to kind of flip the switch back on. Probably not exactly as they left, but like that, when the restaurants can open again, they're going to need people. It's just hopefully they can wait this out long enough and be able to pay their bills and
Well,
Right.
restaurants, your cousin Julie is watching. So hi, Julie. Julie owns a restaurant down in Lakewood. So
Julie runs Garmoni's, which is on
Garmoni's.
Jewel and Garrison.
So right. So it reaches far and wide. They were talking about how I think you were talking to 9 News earlier, how even those that are still Westminster businesses and local businesses that are staying open are doing it just to keep their employees employed. Barely making ends meet, just to do that kind of to go. You're not bringing in the same kind of revenue. Employees aren't getting tipped. In our culture, that's how a lot of that service industry lives. So to cousin Julie and a lot of person just like her, that's a big hit. So I think we all look forward to see how this progresses business and policy as well. You know, what policy at a local level and a state level can help businesses through times like this. Where have they been hindered? Where did we have to like hurry up and cut some red tape and be able to do things that they should have been able to do all along?
I mean, we've been seeing all sorts of stuff happen that wouldn't typically happen. Like, I don't know, like, obviously I'm super focused on Westminster, but I'm sure Denver's much like us doing stuff to try to figure out how you help people survive through it. Because at the end of the day, the cities depend on the tax revenue from the small business, big businesses. So like, is there anything specific you've seen that you really think has been successful so far? Or
I mean, it's constantly evolving. I mean, they're just really trying to utilize every single resource that they have. And Denver's a little different because Denver is a county, so they have access to a lot of different funding that some of the municipalities don't. But you're just really trying to be creative and figure out how you're going to help people, because that's the bottom line.
I think Westminster, we just passed this $1.5 million package that we're going to try to help people with paying their rent, so they can apply for that, which I think the idea is hopefully it couples with what the stimulus package or whatever you want to call it will do, because that's more along, helping pay and stuff. So it's kind of trying to figure out how they have all these different resources. And I think that's one of the things really, like, I've even encouraged businesses and between my own business that I work with and the city to look at all the different resources. I actually was talking about that with my work today, because I'm part of a task force for the company I work for to try to help our franchisees weather this whole thing. And so one of the things, like, talking about what resources they have, I shared with them, like, my city is, this is what they're doing. So, encouraging our business owners to make sure they're looking to their local municipalities to see what they're doing. And everyone's a little bit different. Like, to your earlier point, they have different resources, and maybe they have different reserves. Westminster was smart some years ago in 2008 to start creating reserve after the last big downturn in the economy. So that set us up to a good position. But so we're about an hour. So.
And we might have kept him from howling at the moon. It's 8:04.
Oh, that's right.
8:04. So in the last couple of nights, I've really noticed this howling at the moon. So
we've probably lost all our audience to that.
I totally forgot about the howling at the moon. It scared the heck out of me last night.
Everybody does it. It's so much so that now there's news stories. The dogs obviously are, but I think my dogs are just ahead of the time, because they started howling about 7 a.m. this morning. So maybe they were howling on like Australian time or.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Alberto, for joining us. I know I've been bugging you.
No, I appreciate it.
Come do this for a while. So any parting thoughts?
No, I'll text you my address where I can get my prize for winning policy and Pilsner trivia.
Now you're the reigning champ with bragging rights. So that.
I assume it's some protein shakes or something.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, and everybody who decided to tune in, because you're stuck at your home. So it seemed like an okay thing to do and not watch the news. But with that, appreciate it. Have a good night.
Vanessa, thank you for that game. That was awesome. It was fun.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
I appreciate it. Take care. Be safe.